Hey everyone. I got an amazing package from Randy Perkins this week, and there were just a lot of really awesome locks in it. And this was one of them. It's a V10 Euro cylinder, a little bit of a tricky keyway, not too bad. And then we have here the key with some elements on the side. And when you see these kinds of elements on the side, it's easy to kind of think, oh man, there's side pins or something like that, and I'm going to have to deal with them. Usually, when you see this kind of thing, it's a passive element, and largely for key control. And so, in terms of picking, I mean, you sometimes do have to deal with them, but in most cases, you don't. And in this case, we don't. So this is not a high security lock. This is just a standard security lock with a little bit of a tricky keyway. But it is nevertheless a very cool lock. And so, without further ado, let's throw it in a vise, get it picked. All right, let's try this V10 again. It's one of those locks where the gutting didn't go so well after the first time we picked it on cam. So Euro cylinder V10 from my good friend Randy Perkins. Doing our friends in Europe right by picking this the proper orientation from the European perspective. One of those idiosyncrasies of the world where some areas locks are positioned with the bitting of the key up, facing up, and others have it facing down. And it is substantially harder for me to pick locks in this orientation, but because this is a Euro cylinder, it is completely fair to say that it's the right way to do it. And so therefore I've kind of given up on my traditional overhead camera angle because I just find that my hand is blocking too much of the frame. So I've been experimenting with this. You guys let me know what you think. I don't have any intention of giving up the overhead angle for locks that are positioned the other way, but for these I think it gives a nicer view. I'm just hopeful that it will stay in focus. Okay, there we go. So what we're going to do now is carefully position the camera back in the overhead angle for the gutting. And let's hope the gutting goes better this time than it did last. Okay. So I have the key. I'm going to lock this back up. Get the C-clip off. All right. So the first lesson from last time was to absolutely use a shim. This lock will get bound up if you don't shim it. So we're going to do that. And then the other lesson was to kind of position it like this so that the passive elements don't come out when the lock is when the core is removed. We ruined a spring, but I think otherwise we're in good shape. I think I got a little off center there. So this is pin 1 with the master wafer. And we do have a spring fatality. Maybe not a fatality. Sometimes you can fix these. Yeah, I think I can fix that. All right. Well, let's see here. So put that up there. This lock is just cursed. Me gutting it. Spool. Oh, come on. Another spool. These are long spools. Actually, I know what's all in here because I did actually manage to get it apart. There it is. Okay. The last pin is standard. And it looks like I bounced another master wafer across the table. Okay. Let's knock the springs out. There we go. Okay. Now, first things first. Passive elements. This one's in 2. And this one's in 4. This one's in 1. And this one's in 3. Okay. Drivers. Or, sorry, key pins. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and finally 1. Oops. Okay. Lock is gutted. So, we don't have anything too special in here. This is just a standard holes in the body. There's also no holes to interact with those side pins, those interactive components, or I'm sorry, the passive elements. Those are purely so that you could not put the wrong key in. Essentially, the key needs to have these little dimples in order to fit, although I'm not even totally sure that's the case. Looks like we have some drill protection here, nothing threaded or counter milled, and then of course it looks like you can do passive elements for key control here, here, and here, and I suppose that's probably for some construction keying. So again, the real challenge here is the keyway and the picking orientation of the lock. These spools are fairly long. That's about the only thing interesting about them. There's master wafers everywhere, and then these are those passive elements. All right, thanks, Randy, so much for sending me this lock to pick. I appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.